Good evening, everybody. It is the 3rd of July, 2017, and this is the Surly Grognards. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. Tomorrow's the 4th of July.
Yep.
Hooray.
I expect there to be many brightly colored explosions in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Some of them might actually be intentional.
I'm going to stay in tomorrow night because, yeah. It's going to be warm tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been warm all weekend. Unpleasantly warm.
Yeah, well, it could have been hotter. It's merely in
It
the
could
80s.
have been hotter.
It is merely in the 80s, not the 90s.
Yeah, which is still fucking terrible.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying is I'm appreciating the fact that it is not yet August and not in the 90s.
Yeah. Fuck August.
Well, our friend Gab's in the chat and says, "Oh, I forgot about Treason Day."
It's Brexit 1776, dude.
No. Brexit is England leaving something. This is something leaving England. Totally
Everything
different.
leaves England.
No,
Well, everything already left England.
Yeah, let's say. Actually, a large part of England sort of went, fuck this effort to keep all this stuff. You guys can have it back.
Right.
Except the Falklands. That's important. For what?
We need it for strategic sheep shearing purposes.
Thank you, Eddie Izzard. Kevin, we need our penguins. At any rate. So yeah, we're not going to be talking about 4th of July because there's really nothing 4th of July-ish to talk about. I mean...
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about random bullshit most likely.
Yeah, random bullshit.
Although I did see a conversation earlier today that got me thinking. And we
Okay.
sort of dabbled on this a little bit in the past, but sort of the topic of liking things ironically. And it occurred to me that I saw someone talking about they liked what was it? Sonic 06, the video game Sonic 06. They liked that game ironically. You know, it's so terrible, but I like it anyways. And it got me thinking. You know, the phrase liking something ironically is
silly?
Fundamentally
silly?
It is. I mean, it's sort of a way to cover your ass from saying, you know, I like this, but yes, it's terrible, but I like it, and I like it ironically, so I'm less embarrassed by the fact I like it.
Right.
I think that's a part of it. At least it seems that way. Because it seems like a lot of people have trouble with the concept of acknowledging something they like is flawed or even bad.
Right.
And I understand that. It's just sort of, you know, but it sort of got me thinking. Like, you know, for instance, I freely acknowledge the fact that there are two movies I adore that from a pure quality standpoint are terrible. Which are, you know, Big Trouble in Little China and Buckaroo Banzai and the Adventures Across the Eighth Dimension.
Yeah.
Both of them are terrible movies. I mean, I think it was sort of semi-intentional with the way Carpenter did Big Trouble in Little China. He was trying to make something kind of schmaltzy.
Oh, absolutely. Like it's a big giant it's a big parody of the way 80s action movies worked. Like,
yes.
Watch it. It's structured exactly like an 80s action movie, complete with the ethnic sidekick, except the ethnic sidekick is not the sidekick, he's the main character. And the strapping white dude is the bungling idiot of a sidekick.
Well, yeah, the thing is, it's more that the main character is the sidekick.
Right.
Is that the lead actor is the sidekick of the hero, which I think is really which is
Yeah,
interesting.
that's a much better way of articulating what I was trying to say.
Fair enough. But yeah, no. The other thing about it is I mean, and speaking as someone who watches a lot of Hong Kong cinema, it's really clear it draws heavily on Hong Kong cinema.
Yes.
And I fucking adore that about that movie. It is goofy, goofy bullshit. But you know what? I love that
Build
movie.
on the grave. Exactly.
I love that movie, and I'm not even remotely embarrassed to admit I love that movie. I was in this. I love that movie before it became cool to like that movie. And that is me being fucking hipstery as hell. I know. I don't fucking care because there was a time when I know for a fact that people were like, "Why would you like Big Trouble in Little China?" And my reaction was because it's fucking awesome. It is goofy as fuck, and I don't care if you think it's stupid. I think it's stupid, and I love it anyways.
It is. It's stupid, but it's awesome.
And Buckaroo Banzai, that's one that I think isn't even really on a lot of people's radar.
More than it used to be. It's
Yes.
developed more than a bit of a more than a small cult following.
It's always
honestly.
had a cult following, but it's gotten bigger over the past 10 years or so.
Thank you, internet.
Mm-hmm. Also, thank you for. I forget, some studio actually, somebody finally got their mitts on it and got it back out onto DVD and onto like streaming services and such, because there was a long time that someone involved in the movie got the rights to it and refused to re-release it on VHS or on DVD because he was embarrassed by the movie and hated it. This is literally actually true.
Oh, somehow I'm not surprised.
But then the rights reverted back to the studio, I think, and they basically said, "Fuck, it's got a cult following, or at least sure we'll
It'll
release it on
make money.
DVD."
Fuck it.
And you know what? It's got enough of a cult following. We'll get one of the minor actors in it to record a commentary track for it. Done in the style of pop-up television from VH1, Pinky's pop-ups. It's fucking amazing. Because it's not.
I didn't know that. That's
it's not
great.
the actor like talking about the movie. It's the character Pinky talking about stuff in character in the movie as if it was real.
That's awesome.
It's fucking amazing. That DVD is gold. I wish I owned it.
That's entirely worth tracking down somewhere.
Yeah, it is. It's something I need to get my mitts on because it's great. Oh my god, I love Buckaroo Banzai. Okay, for those of you out there who are unaware of what Buckaroo Banzai Adventures Across the Eighth Dimension is, it is one of the most gloriously terrible movies I have ever seen. It is bad in a way that is entertaining. It is not like it's got good actors who are either not really, who either kind of mail it in an entertaining way, or decided, fuck it, I'm going to devour all the goddamn scenery that's in arm's reach, and some that's out of
Fucking
arm's reach.
John Lithgow, man. Fucking
John
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow
Amazing.
devours everything he can get his hands on, and some stuff that he has to lunge for. I mean, oh my god, it's amazing. But yeah, the main character is played by Peter Weller, the guy who would go on to play RoboCop. Yeah, he's kind of stiff in the movie because it's Peter Weller. He's not a great actor. The main female lead is Ellen Barkin, who mails it in and it's wow. I mean, she's not a great actress, but she's not trying because she knows how dumb this is. But yeah, it's got like a bunch of good actors in it too. Clancy Brown's in it. Jeff Goldblum's in it. It's his first.
Jeff Goldblum's in it.
It's his non-document. It's his first fictional role. He was previously in a documentary before that, but this is actual first actual acting role on.
Yeah, like it's not long after that he ends up doing the Fly.
Yep.
Which is I think his first successful role.
Yeah, Buckaroo Banzai was not successful. No, it did not do well in theaters at first. God, who else is in it? Christopher Lloyd's in it.
Oh, you're right. The aforementioned John Lithgow.
Yeah, John Lithgow's in it. Vincent Schiavelli, one of the all-time great That Guy actors. Couple other well-known guys. It was escaping at the moment, but you know what? I should pull this up on IMDb so I can just look at the cast list because God, this movie is just... The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. That's the full title. I was getting it slightly wrong. So yeah, Peter Weller, John Lithgow, Ellen Barkin, Jeff Goldblum, Christopher Lloyd. Let's see, Robert Ito, Clancy Brown, Vincent Schiavelli. Dan Hedaya is in it. I'm looking for people whose names I recognize immediately. I think that's it for big names that I recognized immediately. Oh, that's too bad. In some of the deleted scenes, Jamie Lee Curtis was apparently played Buckaroo's mom in the scenes that were deleted.
Oh well.
I like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh, that's right. Yakov Smirnoff's in it.
I forgot he was a thing that existed.
But yeah,
like,
seriously.
He was an actual person. It was not just like a meme.
But seriously, so Buckaroo Banzai, I shit you not, his character is literally a brain surgeon, a nuclear physicist, test pilot. Rock and roll star.
Yeah, they can't forget that he's also a rock star. The man is
and a general adventurer.
He is Gary Stu taking to the nth degree.
It's amazing, and he's got his
to the point of parody. It's great.
It's amazing.
I'm actually amazed he does not end up having actual superpowers at some point, like laser eye beams or telekinesis.
He doesn't need them. He's Buckaroo fucking Banzai. And he's got his team of sidekicks that are his band, but also his his team of scientists, sort of action hero team, the Hong Kong Cavaliers, of which you've got of which the preeminent one is Clancy Brown playing Rawhide, and eventually Jeff Goldblum joins up with them, but he's not one of the He's not part of the band. He's just a scientist that joins up with them. They are all action scientists. Honestly, the sort of action scientist thing from Atomic Robo, I think, is informed by Buckaroo Banzai to a bit too.
It would not surprise me at all. I mean, Atomic Robo is love. I'm just going to put it out there.
Atomic Robo is amazing.
Atomic Robo deserves its own religion.
But Atomic Robo is amazing. It's one of my it's one of the more entertaining comic books I've read at all recently, and a lot of it's online. Online as a webcomic now for free. So.
Yes, because it's amazing and it loves you.
And it's by Brian Clevenger, the guy who's behind 8-Bit Theater.
Yep.
And it's better than 8-Bit Theater.
It's a bit where someone builds a supercomputer that accidentally creates a portal to the vampire dimension. So Atomic Robo fights his way to the lab to the supercomputer and goes, okay, how did you guys not know this is going to be evil? Look at it. It's evil. Why does it have steam pipes? They serve no purpose other than to make it evil.
And the scientists who built it are going, well, why are you ascribing like good or evil to it? It's just a computer. It's not just. But everyone's like, but look at it.
It's clearly evil. Okay, you know what? We'll talk about this later. Let's just hit the reverse polarity switch. There's no reverse polarity. What do you mean there's no reverse polarity? Okay, new rule. All experiments must have a reverse polarity switch built into them.
I love Atomic Robo. But yeah, so...
Why do we even have a mass cubed law in reference to fighting giant monsters?
Specifically giant ants.
Yes.
Like the ones from Them. Why do we even have a
How did you defeat them? Atomic Robo, how did you defeat the giant ants? I used my violence on them.
Why do we even have a square cube law? I love that line so much. Oh my god. At any rate, so that's Buckaroo himself and his team. So Buckaroo has been working on tech that his father came up to create this thing called the oscillation overthruster, which allows the user to traverse dimensions and explore other dimensions. This, unfortunately, turns out releases a bunch of aliens who are imprisoned in the 8th dimension, who show up to try to take over the world and the galaxy.
Played by John Lithgow.
John Lithgow is the leader of them. John Morphin. He possesses the mind. He possessed the mind of basically his father. One of his father's co-scientist, Buckaroo's co-scientist fathers, Emilio Lizardo, was the test pilot thing for the original oscillation overthruster, and basically he got his head. He poked his head into the eighth dimension, and John Morphin basically merged into his brain.
Damned are your eyes, and doomed is your soul.
Doomed is your soul. And
considerably more.
No, it's doomed is your soul and damned is your life. Is the.
That's it. Yes.
And damned is your life. Oh my God.
It's just delivered with so much ham that you could feed an entire family for a year.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's glorious. But yeah, so it basically goes to that point where the aliens who overthrew John Morphin's evil aliens, evil rulers, and imprisoned them in the eighth dimension.
All of them look like Milli Vanilli.
They show up to Earth going, oh, okay, Morphin's gotten out. We can't let him get out. We're going to blow up the planet unless you, Buckaroo Banzai, can stop him from actually succeeding in getting off Earth. And thus the movie begins, and it's very silly.
So, yes. So very wonderfully silly.
It is stupid, it is goofy, it makes no goddamn sense, it is very 80s, and it is glorious. One of Buckaroo's, one of the members of the Hong Kong Cavaliers is Perfect Tommy. He's called Perfect Tommy.
Yes,
and
Perfect Tommy.
Oh my God, he is so 80s. I mean, he is very obviously trying to look like Billy Idol. I mean, he's got the frosted, bleached white hair up, leather jacket with no shirt, etc., or white T-shirt underneath it and such. And there's a great scene when Buckaroo is basically getting Ellen Barkin's character out of jail for reasons, and he basically says, "Tommy, give her your coat," and he's like, "Why should I give it to her?" And Buckaroo looks at him, "Because you're perfect." And Tommy goes, all right.
Yeah, all right.
It's like, this is a stupid scene, but I love it.
And it's true. It's the kind of absurd stupidity is just rife throughout the entire film, and it's beautiful because of it.
What's the watermelon for? I'll tell you later. Never explained. Never explained. The watermelon is never fucking explained.
I forgot about the watermelon.
Seriously, if you haven't seen Buckaroo Banzai, find a way to watch it. It's a lot of fun. But I'm warning you, it is not good.
No, it is not good.
It
is glorious, but it is not good.
No. I was at a convention with a friend of mine, but when I was in college, and they did a back-to-back airing of the director's cut of Highlander and then Buckaroo Banzai. And I had not at this point yet seen Highlander. And my friend who was at the convention with and we saw the movies together, he had not seen Buckaroo Banzai. So this is great. And we came out of it, my friend looked at me and said, this is after Buckaroo Banzai, that is, without a doubt, the worst movie I've ever seen. And I loved it. And I'm like, yes. I was not quite as high on Highlander as he was on Buckaroo Banzai. I didn't like it as much as he liked Buckaroo, despite the fact that Highlander is probably a slightly better movie. Highlander is another one of those not actually good movies that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Highlander's carried heavily by the fact that it's got an amazing soundtrack. It's Queen. I mean, the entire soundtrack is Queen. And some of the cinematography is fantastic. They do some incredible shots, some of which they invented the techniques for that movie.
That doesn't surprise me. It also casts Sean Connery, not as the Highlander, but as Ramirez, the Spaniard, who is also an Egyptian.
Who's actually Egyptian and spent time in Japan, yes.
Yes. While the Belgian guy is the Highlander from Scotland.
Yes.
Because fuck you.
And it has Clancy Brown in it too. Clancy Brown was in both those movies.
Yeah, Clancy Brown. Yeah, Clancy Brown's amazing.
And oh lordy, if you want to talk ham,
Yes.
Clancy
Another time, McLeod.
Clancy dives in that role. The Kurgan is a really, really limited role that Clancy Brown does everything he can to make it entertaining, and he succeeds. Because, oh God, like
Kurgan shows up in biker leathers, the shaved head, and facial piercings, in like 1982, mind you. And McLeod's like, "Why are you just like that?" "I'm blending in."
oh my God.
This is great.
No, like no, seriously, like the Kurgan, there's a big problem with the Kurgan that he's, what are the Kurgans? Why does he want the prize? Why is he so evil? What does he do? Why is he doing what he do? For the evils. That's literally the extent of his.
Yes.
Yes, Clancy has a ham sandwich as senior as the bread. Gav put it perfectly. Which is, basically what John Lithgow does in Buckaroo Banzai. I mean,
yes.
I think there might be. I think that one might be John Lithgow's might have been a triple decker sandwich. So you get 2 layers of ham and 3 layers of scenery.
Yes.
With some cheese thrown on top. I mean, just. oh my God. At any rate, so yeah. But yeah, those are 3. Like Highlander, I like less than those other 2 bad movies I've described, but I like it a lot. I do like Highlander. It's just it's not as
goofy.
So it's like I think maybe there should be an episode explaining the Highlander. No, there should not be an episode explaining the Highlander series. We could talk about Highlander. I don't want to discuss the rest of the Highlander series because it's shit.
Is there one where the bad guy is wearing a dog collar for half of it? Not a dog collar, like one of those like cone of shame type things.
I don't remember.
Which makes sense if it's armored so that people can't cut off his head, but does not mean it's not stupid.
The problem
the one with the Highlanders where it turns out they were aliens the whole time.
That's Highlander 2. Yes.
Yeah, that's dumb.
From the planet
And it was promptly ignored by Highlander 3, which is promptly ignored by all humans ever.
Highlander 3 is arguably a less bad movie than Highlander 2, but that's largely because it's almost entirely a complete and utter retread of Highlander.
Yes. But not as good.
Well, no, because it's a retread of Highlander, and instead of Clancy Brown, you have Mario Van Peebles. And again, Mario Van Peebles is not the worst. Mario Van Peebles is not a terrible actor. He's just not great. But like, it's yes, Gavin. And there's the animated series that took Highlander 2 as its basis because they hate me. And then there was the TV series, which
the Kurgan was for some reason alive in the animated series and was the main villain. I remember seeing a few episodes of that.
It was bad. It was not good.
Yeah, for some reason the Kurgan dressed like one of the Kirby's new gods also.
I forgot.
I'm blending in.
Oh my God, that show was terrible. And then there was the Highlander TV series also. Yeah, they're totally.
I will admit, I watched a fuck ton of.
Oh, I did too, but it wasn't good.
No, but I watched a fuck ton of it.
It was better than the animated series.
Yes.
There were parts of the TV series that were not terrible, and then there was everything else. And yeah, I think there are 2 other Highlander. I know there's the 4th one, which was tied into the TV series. If there's a 5th one, let me see here. Oh yeah, the source. Oh, actually, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, is that the TV series? That's the TV series, I think. Yeah, that's the TV series. So, yes, there was. Oh, damn it. There was Highlander, Highlander 2, The Quickening, Highlander, The Final Dimension, which is Highlander 3. with Mario
Right.
Van Peebles. Highlander Endgame, which is the fourth one with the crossover with the TV series. And then there was the TV series, the one that's just the TV series of Highlander: The Source.
Right.
Yeah. I have not seen The Source.
Neither have
and I've not seen all of Endgame. I've seen parts of it on TV. I watched The Quickening and The Final Dimension out of both of those out of morbid curiosity and regretted both.
I know I've seen The Quickening. I think I've seen The Final Dimension. I don't really remember. It was not interesting enough to stick in my head. I have more important stupidity to keep in my head.
If Ferment can come back in Bakano, then the Kurgan can come back in Highlander, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Because
Highlander Raven
actually immortal.
Yeah, Highlander Raven. The Highlander the Raven is, all technically speaking, that was yeah.
Well, it's like the Crow, the only Crow that matters. Then there was like Crow, City of Angels, Crow, the TV series, Crow, the other thing. And I think there was another Crow that I didn't care about.
But The Crow is actually a good movie.
Yes, The Crow is actively good.
Like, it's not a fair comparison comparing The Crow and anything Highlander.
It's true. It has such great lines. Quick impression for you. Caw, 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 bang, fuck, I'm dead.
I will admit, the one area you can do a comparison between Highlander and The Crow is on soundtracks.
Yes. Which are both pretty damn good.
One's Queen, one is, a whole bunch of 90s alternative and industrial stuff.
Yeah. Dude, My Life in the Thrill Cult is in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, as themselves, playing in the club. I happen to really like My Life in the Thrill Cult.
I don't really blame you. I mean, they're not one of my personal favorites, but I grok why you like them.
They're it's like KMFDM and Skinny Puppy decided to just drop all the pretense and just be silly. That's my best way to describe My Life in the Thrill Cult.
Yeah.
And both of those bands can be intentionally silly quite a bit.
Yes. It also has the very, very good cover, Nine Inch Nails cover of Dead Souls. Though I do have a preference for Joy Division's original.
Yeah. Joy Division is... I have to be in a very particular mood for Joy Division, because they are too gothy even when I'm at my gothiest.
Yeah.
I'm not a particularly gothy guy, but even when I was younger and much more pseudo-gothy, yeah.
I am not gothy at all, Eric, and I like Joy Division. But yeah. Eric gothy? Oh yeah, Eric was.
Yeah, I was pretty gothy. Dude, I listened to Crew Shadows unironically. Let me tell you that.
You're more into industrial and...
I was always more of an industrial guy, but yeah. Because how do you argue with KMFDM? You don't. That's how.
I don't try. They're not one of my favorites, but, Also, I have slight objection to their title because I actively like Depeche Mode.
I don't think that's actually what it means. It's just...
I know it isn't. I'm just joking.
Going around.
I know. I don't think it is either, but...
I think it's actually something German, but...
Oh, it almost certainly is. I mean...
But, it's like... I think it was Ogre got asked that, and for like the 17th time by someone who's just like, "Kill motherfucking Depeche Mode, go away."
Fair enough. But I do like Depeche Mode. But yeah, there are a lot of sort of bands that are associated with sort of the goth scene that I actively like and have done so for a long time.
Mm.
You know, like
Yeah, I mean, Suey Sue,
Susie and the Banshees,
yeah,
The Cure.
Susie and the Banshees, Sisters of Mercy.
They're good. I like them a lot. I actually like Sisters of Mercy a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Sisters are pretty damn good.
uh, again, The Cure. I mean,
Yep, The Cure.
fucking, they're amazing. The Smiths.
Yep.
As you know, as much as both Eric and I loathe Morrissey as an individual, the Smiths are an incredible band. I mean,
Yeah, which is so infuriating.
it's so infuriating. God fucking damn it. It means no sympathy for the majority or something silly, says Zenith, the KMDFDM thing. I can see that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, God, I'm trying to think of some other sort of the sort of big name goth bands. I'm blanking on some. Oh, Joy Division.
Yeah, Joy Division. Like I said, too gothy even when I was at my gothiest.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I've always been more a fan of the industrial stuff. KMFDM, Skinny Puppy, Front 242, Frontline Assembly, other things with the word front in it. My Life, the Thrill Kill Cult, which, like I said, is just so wonderfully silly.
Oh my God. But yeah, but yeah, back on that whole sort of, liking things ironically thing.
Right, right.
Which is where we all we started all this.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I totally grok it. It's a way of insulating yourself from criticism for liking something.
Yep.
Because you admit that you're aware it's flawed, and you don't want to eat shit for liking a flawed thing. So you say you would like it ironically. And sometimes there is just liking something ironically. Like, this is silly and stupid, and yeah, I kind of like watching how stupid it is. I like watching its failure. Like,
okay.
And I can kind of see that. That's a lot more effort than I'm willing to put into liking something right now.
Yeah, that's my general take.
Like, it's much more fun just to like the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and not insulate, because a lot of it is just insulating yourself from criticism for liking My Little Pony or
sure.
And I don't know, something.
And there is sort of I can understand the whole sort of liking something because you enjoy making fun of it, like The Room, or Birdemic, as examples.
Fucking Birdemic.
Or God help me, like Sharknado or any of this. Or basically anything by
Sharknado is fucking vile, but there is one scene that never ceases to crack me up, and that involves a guy jumping into a flying shark and then cutting his way out with a chainsaw, dragging his girlfriend with him, who had previously been eaten by the same shark.
Well, of course.
I mean, that's so beautifully absurd. I can't just watch that scene. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have trouble with that sort of thing. Like I'm not good. I don't generally like if I'm not. I don't get as much enjoyment out of mocking things as some people do, and that's fine. Like it's one of the reasons I'm not as big a fan of MST3K as some people are. Like I can appreciate the craft that they put into the jokes they make about the movies. A lot of the time. And I've seen episodes of MC3K I thought were amazing and really enjoyed them. Space Mutiny is one of the one I will cite more often than not. Oh lordy, that was
Biff McLarge huge.
Yeah.
But So, yeah, I mean, MST3K has built an entire industry around an entire not industry, an entire brand around doing that thing you did with your friends when none of you had anything better to do, because there's nothing but crappy movies on, and you couldn't leave because reasons.
Hmm.
So you watched bad movies, and yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And they did it better than any of us, which is why they have a
Well,
fucking empire
yes.
now.
Yeah, I've watched a bunch of bad movies that some of them I can't think of that many I've enjoyed mocking, really. I mean, there are a few that I have. Uh, but I watched. I mean, you and I both did this. I know we both watched a lot of bad monster movies when we were growing up.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, because of the wonders of WLVI's Creature Double Feature here in Boston.
And
Oh, there were some bad movies on that.
no, when MST3K did Gamera, I was like, holy shit, I remember watching this. Yes, I remember the nostril throwing stars. Why were they there? I don't know, but they were.
Yeah. And whenever they did the Saturday Kung Fu Theater thing, also I watched a lot of that, and some of those are really bad.
There is something wonderful about, or just wonderfully, I don't know. What was it called? Something the Flying Guillotine.
Oh, I think it's just the Flying Guillotine.
Is it just the Flying Guillotine?
I think so. Let me double check.
Because it was a bird cage with an iris valve of razors on the bottom, and it would take
Master
out
of the
people's
Flying
heads.
Guillotine.
Master of the Flying Guillotine. And the Master of the Flying Guillotine doesn't show up till the last 15 minutes after the goddamn tournament and kills everyone. With the most ridiculous sound effects.
Pretty bad.
Although what really got me was when Boondocks referenced it. By reference to, I mean they had a posse of old black guys doing the whole kung fu assassin thing, showing up in town, and one of them was literally a master of the flying guillotine. Boondocks is amazing. I just thought you guys should know that.
Largely yes, I would agree with that. I would agree with that almost entirely.
Mm.
Magruder occasionally, I think he sort of lost some steam in the later seasons.
Yes. Well, you can tell because he starts referencing more and more just stuff he likes as opposed to making comments. He'll he dedicated 6 episodes once to just doing random kung fu stuff.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah,
but,
which is great. And given the importance of kung fu in 70s black culture, I mean,
yeah, no kidding. It was So but the first couple of seasons of the Boondocks was kind of amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, so I was just sort of thinking, but back to the whole staying on top, trying to stay somewhat on top, sort of quasi topic. Liking ironically. So I mean, what stuff is that? What can you think of stuff that you at one point would describe liking ironically, and would you sort of say it's the same? You'd feel the same way now.
Liking ironically?
Yeah, at
any
point.
Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
I like that ironically. The truth of the matter was I just fucking adored it.
I see. So you said you liked it ironically.
I said I liked it ironically. And yeah, I would totally watch Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers right the fuck now.
Most of those Disney cartoons were great.
Yeah. You just couldn't admit to liking them if you. Well, I was already in the friggin' shit pit, so there was no getting out of that. But something I should have realized 1,000 years ago. But
Yeah. Anything else? I mean, because I mean, I can't really think of anything I would say I liked ironically, personally.
not intentionally, ironically. I mean, I really enjoyed. There are bad movies I enjoy watching that because they're bad.
Right. Yeah, I
Um,
think there are things I can say
but
that about. There are things
like
I.
particularly like some of the Japanese like spider punk movies, like Tokyo Gore Police, which immediately leaps to mind, which is just so bizarrely surreal and absurd and insane. And I'm almost certain they're doing it on purpose, but I can't be sure.
Right. Yeah, I think the really interesting thing is for me, the stuff there's almost nothing that like of the stuff like I of the media types I consume, which in television, movie, uh, video game,
Oh,
music.
oh, Star Trek fan fiction and tie-in novels. Like that is stuff I like, ironically.
Okay.
Um, and partially because hey, it's more Star Trek, but like yeah, it's bad, and I'm not really enjoying it. But there's a certain degree of just how bad it is that I just like.
Yep.
And it's definitely not an enjoyment, an honest enjoyment, like say watching The Amazing Machine Girl. I mean, if you could see a movie and a woman shows up with friggin' like drills for boobs and tries to hug you to death, that is fucking awesome. I don't care.
But yeah, I was about to say, like, of all the sort of media that I enjoy, so I was getting to reading books and comic books and such. I
Mm,
think the only one where there's stuff that that of a media that I actually will sort of enjoy watching it or consuming it because it's and it's bad, and I'm doing it because I'm enjoying sort of the badness in some ways. Like
mm.
I'm at least being amused by how bad it is, and like that. I think it's entirely visual media, like
Right.
movies and television. Like I can't do that with music. Like bad music, music I don't
Yeah,
like and
I
I think
can't
is
think of
bad.
a bad.
I can't do it. I can't do it with bad books. I don't get enjoyment out of mocking a bad book. Uh, Video games, I'll just stop playing them if I think it's bad enough and I'm not enjoying it. Like
Yeah.
there are video games that have problems, and I think that have bad elements to them. But if I'm not going to keep playing unless there's something about it I'm enjoying honestly. That said, there are bad movies that I think like which have almost no redeeming features that I will go, yes, I enjoyed that. Uh,
But is it an earnest enjoyment, or is it because you're watching it fail and
there, it's
being amused by the
usually
manners in which it
it's
fails?
usually an earnest enjoyment.
Okay.
But there is stuff out there like bad. There's an element of bad television that I will actually sometimes enjoy, like stuff that I'm
Mm.
like, yeah, I'm enjoying watching this just purely from the standpoint of, oh God, this is terrible, and I'm going to enjoy sort of nitpicking of why it's bad. But it's very rare for me. I generally don't have the patience for that.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit is kind of like that for
Yep,
me.
that would be one of them.
In particular when a particular side character shows up, and he's like, "Wow, you are so the fanfic insert character." I don't know the guy's name, but he is just like, so I'm the hard cop that breaks the rules but get things done. Grr. And it's like, you are totally just someone's Mary Sue, aren't you?
For me, honestly, the Law and Order that do that, I enjoyed I actually enjoyed the most, despite it being terrible in my opinion. And a large part of it was just of how absurd it was Criminal Intent, and specifically when Jeff Goldblum joined the cast.
Yes, yes. When Jeff Goldblum joined the cast, that became much more enjoyable.
Because Jeff Goldblum's character was Jeff Goldblum in virtually every movie, which
Yes.
made it hilarious. But you get to watch Jeff Gold, like you get to watch this sort of this homicide detective doing the classic Jeff Goldblum illogical logic chain thing, and it's just like, oh
Yes.
my god.
And yet somehow it's still right, because fuck you.
Oh yeah, Jeff Goldblum joined Criminal Intent. It was It was amazing. No,
Jeff Goldblum's a funny guy.
Oh God, yes, absolutely.
Like he's there's the famous gif of him going, which is actually apparently a real thing, where he's like, a lot of people ask me, do I spell how I pronounce my last name? Is it Goldblum or Goldblum? And I always respond the same thing. How dare you talk to me?
Yeah, that was for an ad of some sort. I don't remember what.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that's hilarious.
Yep. So yeah, it's, but like there's like even that, like I enjoyed that, not because there's any actual quality to it. I'm enjoying it because Jeff Goldblum is his character in that just does not fit the way the rest of the show has been structured. Like, it's very clear, like everything around him is being sort of assembled to still fit within the Criminal Intent formula. But then there's Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum there, and it's amazing. It does not work at all, but it's gloriously terrible.
Works beautifully. And part of that, why that was, because it illustrated everything that I disliked about Criminal Intent.
Yes!
But in a beautiful way.
Criminal Intent, I will say this. A friend of mine described Criminal Intent perfectly. It's like a bad reinterpretation of Columbo.
Yes.
Because the show is structured exactly the way Columbo is structured. You see the crime to start with, and you're watching the detectives piecing it together and interacting with the criminal, trying to figure the actual criminal, trying to prove that, trying to figure out who it actually is, and then prove it. This is how Columbo was structured, but it is missing like all the things that made Columbo great. Peter Falk. Rest in peace, Peter Falk. You were amazing. But it's just like,
One more thing. But just the way, Peter Falk was great in that.
Well, a large part of the reason Columbo worked is that Columbo is such a likable character.
Yep.
And that is not the case of anybody in Criminal Intent.
No, not at all.
I mean,
except for Jeff Goldblum.
But you don't like him because of the character is structured to be a likable character. Because in a lot of ways he's an arrogant asshat, but
you like him because you're watching Jeff Goldblum do the character.
Like, Vincent D'Onofrio's character is infuriating.
Yeah, no, I hated Vincent D'Onofrio in that. It's a shame because he's great. I mean,
he's a really good actor, but
yeah, but he was just. You're just a prick. You know that, right? There's nothing endearing about you. You're not even a clever prick like friggin' House.
I mean, again, it's a fault of the writing, not not anything else.
No, it's not his fault. It's the writers. But he did have the option of going, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm tired of being an ass.
But yeah, there's a lot. But back to this whole thing. It's like I watch a lot of police procedurals. I have. Most of them are terrible. Like, I have watched a lot of the various Law and Order shows. The original Law and Order for a long while was actually good.
Yes.
No,
I'll agree with that.
And there are episodes of Special Victims Unit that are actually good, but they're rare and far between. But there's some good acting in SVU.
Yep.
It turns out Ice Cube is actually good.
Yeah, Ice Cube and what's his fuck, Monk. The guy who plays Monk.
God, I'm blanking. God, what is his name? Shoot.
Whatever. Monk is hilarious and the best thing about that show.
That he is played by Richard Belzer.
Yes.
Belzer's
he is
great.
Hilarious and the best thing about that show.
The thing is, he's not a Law and Order original character.
No, he's from like what was
Homicide.
It? Homicide?
Yeah, he's originally from Homicide, which was a better police procedural.
And he was still the best thing about Homicide.
Well, yes. Well, it's Richard Belzer, and Belzer was great. So,
yes.
So yeah, but I've watched a bunch of the various Law and Orders. The woman who plays oh, God, the main female lead
I know who you're talking about.
Special
Yeah,
Victims
she's
Unit.
pretty good.
Mariska Hargitay. I can't remember her character's name off the top of my head, but she's actually good. And the guy who plays Elliot
Her
Stabler is a good
character
actor.
doesn't matter. Her character's name doesn't matter because she serves the exact same role in every episode.
Yeah, but she's a good actress. And the guy who plays Stabler, the character Elliot Spencer, not Elliot Spencer, Elliot Stabler. Elliot Spencer is Leverage. But yeah, Stabler is the guy who plays him is a good actor. He's not a great actor, but he's good.
Right.
But like it's just the level of writing and acting quality is a step down from the original the first season of first good chunk of season of Law and Order, which was really well done. But yeah, like look at the other police procedurals that I've watched. Like CSI was interesting for a while, but then it went right up its own ass. And then the spin-offs happened, and oh god, the CSI spin-offs. Oh,
I never really was that big of a fan of CSI.
the original CSI for a while was actually very good. But
And then there was what is it? NCIS,
NCIS,
the Navy one.
which was a spin-off of a different show. It was actually a spin-off of a different show. That was a
Right.
spin-off of JAG.
Oh, no wonder I wasn't terribly fond of it.
Well, NCIS, I watch more NCIS than I care to admit, honestly.
Same here. There was a time when streaming was not a thing, but NCIS was everywhere.
Yes. And there are characters in NCIS I actively like. Two of them.
Abby and what's his fuck? The nerdy investigator who eats all the shit.
Mickey. So three then. I actually kind of like Mickey. You're right. But no, Abby and Ducky, the medical examiner.
Oh yeah, Ducky.
He's great.
Yeah.
Abby and Ducky are the two best characters in that show, easily. And
Yep.
and Gibbs is fine. Mark Harmon's a good actor, is the thing. So I mean,
Yeah, Mark Harmon is a good actor, and he's the thing that saves Gibbs from being an insufferable prick the entire time.
yes, he injects a lot more warmth and charisma into that role than the writing gives him.
Yeah, because honestly, if it was played by anyone else, I probably would have just advocated Gibbs get shoved in a blender. There's another fucking Gary Stu right there.
Oh, fuck's sakes, yes.
Fucking Gibbs is a Gary Stu.
Well, almost everyone in that
Too.
show, to a large degree, is Eric.
Yeah, fair
They're
enough.
all just hyper competent in their own ways. Yeah, NCIS did have the two people typing on the same keyboard scene. That was dumb. I agree, but
I remember that.
and they are over fond of zoom and enhance. I really enjoyed Criminal Minds for a long time. It's gotten stale, so I've sort of
Right.
stopped watching it. But I actually really enjoyed Criminal Minds for a long time because it was actually a somewhat intelligent procedural, and the acting was generally really fucking good. I mean, it had Mandy Patinkin on it for a long time, for Christ's sake. Well, for 2 seasons, and then then he decided that he really, really didn't like doing the show. It's like, yeah, I didn't think it was going to be this grim. I really, it's putting me in a bad mental place. I'm done. I'm like, you know what? I really can't fault that.
Yeah. I guess House I kind of like, ironically, but it's mostly just watching Hugh Laurie be an asshat to people.
Yeah, well, House is another one of the shows that started off a lot stronger than it ended up.
Yes.
That's true for all long-running shows. I mean, House is basically a procedural. It's a medical procedural.
It's a medical procedural, and it's Hugh Laurie being an asshat to people, and doing it with all the hilarity and charisma that you would expect from Hugh Laurie.
Yeah. If again, that would be an unwatchable show if it wasn't for that Hugh Laurie is a brilliant comic actor.
Yes.
That show would be in the hands of almost anybody else. House would be insufferable.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Beck, totally. But yeah, but Beck. So I'm sort of talking about the for the most part, most cop shows I'm not a big fan. I watch a lot of them despite that I'm not a big fan of cop shows in general.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there was a time when streaming wasn't a thing, and they were fucking everywhere.
Oh, they're very popular.
There's only so much you can do at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep.
Yeah.
And you've read every book in the house 3 times. Not that this wasn't me for a good portion of the early 2000s.
Oh. But, I watch a lot of procedurals, and I I wouldn't say I like them ironically. Is the thing. I liked some of them despite their glaring flaws. And some of them I enjoyed watching just to nitpick, and most of the ones I stuck with I watched because it had one or two characters I enjoyed. NCIS. The only reason I watched that because I was watching it for the Abby and Ducky scenes. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
I could care less about the rest of the show. I just liked Abby and I liked Ducky. Because Paulie Perrette is adorable, and the guy who plays Ducky is actively good, and I like the character. And the character the character of Abby Shuto is a fun character, despite the stupid bullshit she pulls off a lot of the time. Because the people who write NCIS don't understand technology.
Or deductive reasoning.
Yeah. Well, the deductive reasoning part is less of a problem. It's more just the forensic science stuff is usually batshit. Well, they go overboard with it. They go overboard with it. It's not as bad as the forensic tech they use in CSI Miami. Oh lordy, CSI Miami. Oh. If I was to pick a police procedural to watch and mock, that would be it.
Yeah, I have to agree there.
Because, God, it is gloriously awful. Because, like, it does the crazy...
That's the one with LL Cool J, right?
No, that's NCIS LA.
Oh, okay.
No, CSI Miami is the one with, God, I can't remember the name, David Caruso, with Caruso.
Oh, okay.
With the sunglasses. And the insane super tech computers to do forensics with. Oh my God. The holographic computer bullshit they use in that show is gloriously bad.
You see that in Bones, too.
Oh,
I'm like, really?
Oh,
really?
Bones. No, dude. Okay, I've got a little mini Bones rant, actually. I tried rewatching some Bones a little while ago because it was on Netflix. And I remember watching a few episodes and thought, yeah, it's dumb, but I enjoyed parts of it.
And the female lead's fucking gorgeous.
Well, yes, Emily Deschanel is stunning, and she's actually a fairly good actress. And
yes.
And it's got David Boreanaz in it too, who's hilarious. He's actually one of the few hilarious parts of that show.
When I first saw Bones, it's like, why is Angel walking around in daylight? Won't he catch on fire?
But here's the thing about Bones is it is. So, okay, all the characters on Bones, with the exception of David Boreanaz's FBI agent, are all super intellectual types.
Right.
And, and it's all about solving things from an intellectual standpoint and such. And, Boreanaz is the FBI agent. He's the good cop who's most about working from his gut and understanding people. The really weird thing is, this is a show that on the surface looks like it's a very show about celebrating intellectuals. It is one of the most anti-intellectual shows I have ever watched.
Yes.
Because
it's all about him, like, being cool.
No, that's not what it is, because he's wrong a lot of the time. No. The problem is just how completely insufferable everybody on that show is. With the exception of Boreanaz.
Right.
Every smart character on that show is an asshole. It is like they are all brains, no heart, and like that is constant. It is a constant theme on that show that smart people don't understand humanity, and it's just
wasn't there like a whole season long story arc about a psychopath who was hyper intelligent or something?
Probably.
And he had a skeleton, and every time he would take trophies from all his victims.
Yes. Yeah, no,
that was all the purpose of replacing the.
It was a sort of a
chrome skeleton with real bones. Yeah.
It was a sort of culty. It was a serial killer, sort of weird conspiracy theorist thing, involving taking down like the whole movement behind it was like taking down secret society bullshit and stuff.
Right.
And it roped in the super sort of emotionally stunted, super genius young guy on the team to his apprentice, and it was just like, oh my fucking God. It is awful. It is like, oh, I hate that show. It is galling. Just how, like, oh. Because on the surface, it really is. There's a lot of things about the show I would admire on the surface, like, the like, just like the real, like, on the surface, the character Bones is a really fucking cool character. I really dig her
Right.
in a lot of ways, and she's based on a real person.
Yeah,
Like,
I was thinking, like, she's got a fair amount of heart. She just works hard to. She just has trouble expressing it, if I
yeah,
remember correctly.
that sort of that develops as the show goes on to a certain degree. But oh my god, everyone around her, like, there's one
Yeah.
person, there's one member of the staff who's actually all heart. That's Angela. I remember all these names. I watched the show 3 or 4 months ago. I watched like 2 seasons of it, so I'm just like, oh, God, I hate that show. Ugh. Also, they really fantasize, like, over sort of, they turn the actual sort of, forensic anthropology tech into, like, super science. It's just insane.
Yes, like I was not kidding when they said they had a holographic table where it was just like, and now suddenly we can see what the person actually looks like, even though we had like a partial skull and a couple teeth from nowhere else on the skull.
I mean, I will say this. From what I understand, a lot of what they do in the show is that kind of reconstruction is theoretically possible, with a lot of
Sure.
work and time and sculpting. Like, actual physical work. God damn it, I hate that. Bones is infuriating. But yeah, the whole liking things, ironically, just I find trying to do that tiring. I'll be honest. Mostly because if something's bad, like really that bad, I'm gonna sit there and go, I'm just angry.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy this. Why is, like, especially if it's popular too? Like, oh my god, the problem, the biggest problem with most of these shows, they're popular. People like this stuff, and I'm like, why? Why do people think this is good? I don't get it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like I can. There's. I hate to bring it up again, but Twilight, which was very, very popular, and like I was like, I will not judge until I have seen it. I got around to. I will be annoyed at this fan base, but I will not judge the film itself until I've seen it.
Sure.
And then I saw the film and I was like, my God, it's worse than I thought. Like there's
Yeah.
the film itself is bad, and then if you go deeper, it gets worse and just keeps getting worse.
Oh my
It's
god.
like, yeah. So I bring up Twilight because it's a perfect example of something that's popular that I fucking despise for good reason.
Ugh. Ugh. But yeah, so yeah.
And like Hunger Games, I was annoyed at the fan base because it was fucking everywhere. But at the same time, I actually saw the movie. I haven't read the books, but I saw them because I didn't care enough to read the books. But I could spare 2 hours of insomnia to watch the Hunger Games movie. It's like, okay, yeah, it's not my bag, but I understand why you dig it. Okay,
Oh, back in the chat mentions the Big Bang Theory.
that's vile.
Oh.
That's vile.
The worst part about that show is I've seen individual episodes I thought were funny.
Sure, I mean it's going to happen eventually.
The problem with that show is when you watch more than one episode, especially back to back, and you start seeing some of the ongoing themes that I don't think a lot of them are actually intentional or done from malice by the writers. But most of the show is not really funny. A lot of it's really fucking insulting to people, to certain groups. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like the
Anyone with
character,
Asperger, like, just like seriously, really?
like seriously, like Sheldon is one of the most offensive characters I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. And just
And it's
it's it looks at friggin' geek culture and it mocks it while pretending to be its friend, and that fine.
yeah,
You want to make fun of geek culture? Fine, that's cool. I grok it. We
yeah.
are funny and deserve to be made fun of sometimes. But don't pretend to be my friend when you're doing it, asshole.
The thing is, there are large elements of what has sort of developed into geek culture which that aren't just that deserve serious criticism, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
And but it's and so there's elements to the show which are uncomfortable and bad that I think are could theoretically in the hands of good writers could raise good questions, but they're not doing it to raise questions.
No, they're doing it to yeah.
And there's a large chunk of it. I mean, a friend of mine another one of my friends described it as nerd blackface, and to a certain degree, it is.
I think that's. I don't like that term. I understand the whole hyperbole.
I don't like the term either. As I said, that's why I said to a certain degree it is.
Yeah, like hyperbole to make a point. Cool, but it's treading on some uncomfortable ground.
I agree. I agree completely. That's why I sort of hesitated to actually. Why I was hesitating thinking about.
I've heard that term referred also, and I always sort of from other sources, and I always sort of roll my eyes and think, listen, I understand hyperbole to make a point, but could you choose something not
quite as loaded?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, I don't know. I just, God, the Big Bang Theory is just. I mean, the big thing about it is it's also got the problems that it is a traditional sitcom in a lot of ways, in almost every way,
Right.
down to the way it uses its laugh track.
I hate laugh tracks.
They can work occasionally, but they're kind of
outdated. I can't watch the Flintstones because of the laugh track.
Yeah,
makes
I
my
can see
skin
that.
crawl.
Also, oh god, the Flintstones. Honestly, my biggest problem with the Flintstones is it's like whenever I watch it, like at this point, I'm like, yeah, I could watch this, or I could go watch the Honeymooners, and it's actually better.
Yeah,
because Jackie Gleason's in it, and Jackie Gleason is amazing. By the way, if you don't know that, the Flintstones is directly a pastiche of the Honeymooners.
You're right. And here's the thing: there's a lot about the Flintstones that I like, but the laugh track just makes my skin crawl. Like there's an early episode that I really enjoy about the whole thing is Barney's got a secret. And everyone's like, what the fuck's up with Barney? Why does he spend so much time in his basement? He doesn't talk about it. And now he has all this money. What's he doing? It turns out Barney's got a fucking counterfeit ring working out of his basement. He's literally printing his own money. The entire episode is about Fred finding out, convincing Barney this is a really bad idea, we're all going to go to jail, and then covering it up. And it's hilarious.
That's great!
Even with the fucking laugh track, it's great.
But yeah, like, it's interesting. The laugh track has become so much less acceptable in comedy for me. Like, to the point that one of my favorite sort of semi-modern comedies is hurt by its laugh track. The IT Crowd.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, without a laugh track, that show would be so much better.
Black Books, same thing.
Yeah, yes, totally.
Black Books is fucking hilarious, and I can't stand laugh tracks, but I'll watch Black Books and the IT Crowd because of that. Despite it.
Yeah, just, But, like, there are shows with laugh tracks where it doesn't bother me. Like, actually, I'm not sure. For some of them, it's like they aren't, like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of other ones that, like, Red Dwarf also uses a laugh track a fair bit. And it's not as intrusive.
I don't remember it.
Well, it's because it's not as intrusive.
Okay.
At least I don't. Actually, I'm not positive it does now. I'm thinking about it.
I don't think it does.
I haven't watched Red Dwarf in like 3 years, so I might be misremembering. I might be assuming it had a laugh track because most BBC comedies do. Red Dwarf was a live audience. Thank you. If that's what it was, okay.
Okay.
Yes. Did MASH have a laugh track? I don't know, Zenith. If it did, it is one of the few examples where I can say laugh track did not hurt that show because MASH is amazing. Yeah. MASH was great.
Yeah, MASH is pretty freaking awesome.
But yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So out of curiosity, Eric, before we wrap things up, are there any other sort of things that you acknowledge are bad that you like anyways, ironically or not?
Yeah. Let me try to think of some examples. Why can't I think of anything off the top of my head? I know there's tons of it out there.
Okay, Dewani says currently watching MASH, no laugh track. Great. Actually, I've got a question for you and for our audience. So if anybody's in the audience wants to chime in on this, here's an interesting one. Is there any game that you've played that you think is bad that you like anyways?
Warhammer 40,000 Eternal Crusade.
Okay.
I mean that's only because it's the one I've been playing most recently. The game is bad, but I still like it.
Right. Like I want to differentiate this from games that are flawed that you like anyways. There's a difference.
Yes.
Gav's like most wrestling games. Okay. Dewani says Stranded Deep. Haven't played that one, so I can't comment on it.
Haven't played that one.
No, you personally think it's bad, but Zelda 2... Zelda 2 is one I've heard a lot about that in sort of that way, yeah. Because Zelda 2 is so different from Zelda 1 and from the other Zelda games. Tacky on the Fringe. Don't know that one, Dewani.
Arguably Warhammer 40,000 flavor.
I'm trying to think. Tachyon is Bruce Campbell. Okay, I'll take it.
Oh, Hercules Legendary Journeys. And Xena Warrior Princess. Those shows are fucking terrible, but I love them anyway.
Yeah, I like Xena more than I like Hercules. And that's no small part due to the fact that, you know, Lucy Lawless is a better actress than Kevin Sorbo as an actor.
Yes. Although not Andromeda. Andromeda's fucking terrible.
I will defend season 1 of Andromeda. It was deeply flawed, but it was going somewhere interesting.
And then it skipped the interesting thing.
Yes, because then Kevin Sorbo soberized the show. So if nothing else, Kevin Sorbo has contributed the phrase "Sorboized" to the lexicon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I will say the other thing I'll say about Andromeda, all the stuff about the pre-collapse of the Commonwealth, like all the background stuff, like talking about the Commonwealth and all this stuff pre-collapse, really fucking interesting. Like that's an interesting universe, and a really cool universe to set the show in.
Nope.
Well, again, I think it's interesting they did that and then did the show post Long Night. That's interesting. That's actually an interesting thing to do. And you know, the fact that it was a Roddenberry creation was one of the reasons I think that it had potential to work. It was saddled by the fact that, you know, it wasn't that well written, and it was also saddled with Kevin Sorbo as the lead actor. And the special effects were kind of hokey.
Just a little. Here's the thing: good writing and character work can overcome bad special effects. Look at old Doctor Who.
Yes, that is the crowning example of that. Classic Who did. Seriously, the special effects in that show were not good.
No.
They did serious work with the 5 pence, the 5 pounds they had per episode, or whatever it was. Yeah, we got a fiver here. Do what you can, guys. Okay. But yeah. Yeah, Andromeda was bad. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know if I would describe.
You know what? As soon as like I go and eat dinner and like watch something bad that I will enjoy, I'm like, oh, I should have mentioned this thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of specifically. I'm currently trying to think of video games that I've played that I think are bad that I like. Specifically, like there are several that I think are deeply flawed, but I think they have enough redeeming features that I wouldn't call them bad per se. Like I think both Skyrim and Fallout 4 are deeply, deeply flawed games, but I don't think they're quite flawed enough for me to. There's enough good
They're
stuff
not
in there.
bad games at all. In fact, I really enjoy them. In fact, I was going to go and do stuff today because I took the day off and wasted the entire day playing Fallout 4 again.
Yeah.
Like, and I like Fallout 4 a lot more than you do.
Oh yeah, you do. I know you do, Eric, and that's fine. I will stand by the fact that I think outside of the actual in the minor engine improvements between New Vegas and Fallout 4, New Vegas is by and far the superior game. Outside of the engine changes.
You're probably right. The thing is, one of the things I really enjoy about Fallout 4 is the difference in the environment. Like, I have played so many like post-apocalyptic desert hellholes.
Sure, and that's fine.
And now I'm in a hilly terrain, like covered with like twisted dead forests, and that's much more interesting to me.
Yeah, Fallout 4 has the advantages in it's in a sort of a both urban and suburban environment that's post-apocalyptic.
Yep.
But unlike Fallout 3, it actually has color.
Yes. Yeah, there's a fair amount of color in Fallout 4.
The fact that New Vegas is more colorful than 3 and it's set in a fucking desert.
Yes.
Fucking criminal. Fallout 3 is not a game I defend. I will say this right now.
Yeah, no, between 3 and Vegas, no, New Vegas is vastly superior to 3. There is no question there.
Oh, between 3 and 4. 4 is just clearly is vastly superior also.
But I really like 4. You're probably right, but I really like 4.
For me, the biggest difference, honestly, there are two big differences in the reason I prefer New Vegas to 4. And they're very simple. One, I much prefer the character development system in three because in New Vegas because of the fact that your perk choices are more meaningful. They do more interesting things. Like a lot of your perk choices in 4 are really fucking boring, and like I do slightly more damage with my gun, or in melee, or I spend a perk to improve a stat, and it's just like it's like they do things mechanically and they're good, but there's very little that are actual game changers and change the way the game feels like it plays.
But they're not as viscerally satisfying, is what you're saying.
And oh god, the story in New Vegas is just light years better than the story in 4.
Yes.
Like not even fucking
close.
close.
I will agree with that.
4 has the vastly better weapon modding system.
Yes, I vastly prefer crafting in general in 4.
That is one of the things that gets
despite its flaws, I really enjoy the settlement building feature.
Yeah, I don't.
I know you don't, but I like building my ramshackle palaces.
I want to like doing that, Eric. The game just insists on making the system infuriating to use. 4 has some truly excellent companions. Both New Vegas and 4 have
Piper,
good
Nick Valentine.
Piper, Nick, like almost all the companions in 4 are actually almost all of them are actually good. Like Piper's really good. Nick Valentine's the best companion in the game. I think he's probably the best companion in any Bethesda game. Period.
I think you're probably right.
Uh,
Nick's
uh,
kind of brilliant.
like
Strong is bad, but I like him anyway.
Curie's great.
Yep.
Hancock's really interesting. Kate's pretty interesting.
Oh
McCready's
man,
apparently
how did I
pretty.
forget about Hancock? Hancock's amazing.
I don't know, Eric.
Like
But
he's great. How do you not like him? I challenge anyone to spend like an hour running around the Commonwealth Hancock and not think he's awesome.
yeah, he's kind of a dick.
Which is why he's a charismatic dick, which is why he's awesome. It's like running around with House, but also a drug addict and a revolutionary.
At any rate, so New Vegas's companions are all pretty good too. Don't get me wrong, but I was just comparing it to So
what's the brother with the Steel Girl that punches things to death?
Veronica.
Yeah, she's great.
I like Veronica. Boone's really cool. Cassie's cool.
Cassie's great. Yes.
Not a Arcade's all right. And I can't remember the name of the Nightkin.
Oh right, what's her face?
She's great too.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
And the Ghoul's also pretty cool. I actually like him. The Ghoul Pistolero. I mean, come on, how awesome is that? That's just fucking great. And then the two robotic companions you get, Eddie and the dog Rex, I think.
Yep, the Rex.
Both of them are great. Like Eddie's amazing. Lily, thank you, Beck. And the Ghoul's voiced by Danny Trejo. I mean, come on.
Yes, which is pretty awesome.
But yeah, I get why you why there are things about Fallout 4 I like, but I think it is I would not call it a bad game, but it is a heavily flawed one. And same with I stand by Skyrim as not being a bad game, but it's really flawed.
Skyrim is another game I really enjoy, and I will admit, part of the enjoyment does come from the fact that you can be an orc Viking who eats dragons.
But excuse me. So yeah, I don't know. The thing is that it's Skyrim's biggest problem is Bethesda's biggest problem is they make these big sort of sandbox games and everything feels kind of disconnected.
Mm.
Like
I think part of it is they want to build the big giant sandbox, which is great. That's one of the things I love most about Bethesda games is the big giant sandbox.
Yeah.
But their writing gets much better with their DLCs, so they're not nearly as concerned with making a big giant sandbox.
Yeah, there's the problem. The biggest problem, honestly, is that sort of to the disconnected thing is that no matter what you do, almost nothing really feels like it changes.
Mm.
Like, you become the head of the Mages Guild. What effects does it have in the game other than every now and then a guard will say, "Oh, you're the Archmage." It has no actual impact on anything else in the game.
Yeah.
Same with becoming you're the head of the mages, you're the head of the companions. Same thing.
But now I'm a werewolf.
Until you decide to stop being one.
Why would you stop being a werewolf?
So you can get the well-rested bonus.
Why would you stop being a werewolf?
Because being a werewolf isn't mechanically very useful.
But you're a werewolf.
Eh.
You can turn into a monster and eat people. It's great.
And I've had character playthroughs where I've done that and it was fun, but I don't want to do it on every character.
I know what you said is English, but the arrangement of the words just doesn't make any sense. Next, you're going to say you don't take cannibalism when you have the opportunity in Fallout games.
I have never taken cannibalism in any Fallout game.
You are so weird.
It's a useless perk for the most part.
But you get to eat people.
For no good reason. It doesn't help.
but it's actively funny.
But I'd rather use it on something I think is more interesting. Never mind
No,
the fact
no,
that I just
don't
don't. I
understand.
like the concept of playing a cannibal just doesn't interest me, Eric.
It's fundamentally hilarious.
No, it really isn't.
I'm aware I'm a bit weird on
I know
this.
you are. I know you're aware of that. I'm giving you crap. But yeah, no, seriously. I'm glad it's in there as an option. Seriously, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been there. I mean, it's a post-apocalyptic, sort of,
Well,
Fallout
it's
4, you can chain cannibalism to infinite health. Oh, okay.
the what's the word I'm looking for? That the it's there. I'm glad it's an option, but I'm not going to take it. Is something that I really appreciate in pretty much anything when it comes to games in general, tabletop, video games, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like, I am not going to play a tabletop RPG where I can't be some sort of monstrous creature. I won't always play one. I may not even ever play one, but it's important that the option is there.
I would dispute that point, but I know for a fact you have done it before.
Sure, and I'll probably not play those games again.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of valid science fiction universes where shouldn't be that isn't and shouldn't be an option. It is a thing.
Sure, where humans are the only option. Sure.
Yeah, that would be my main
Mech
example.
Warrior being one.
Yeah, exactly. The
Because
BattleTech universe.
being able to play a space orc is overridden by the fact I get to have a giant fucking murder bot.
Right. No, I'm just sort of saying. Like, I was just thinking. Yeah, there's sci-fi examples where I could think of that. Which are predominant, which is entirely human universes. So yes. Or ones where the giant gribbly aliens are just not really valid player character options. Like if you were to run as an example, although there are plenty of other sort of weird monstery things that you would have an option of playing, but if you're doing something in Niven's known space, I probably wouldn't allow. I don't think the Kazin would be a player character option.
Depending on when in the timeline.
No, they are too overpowered.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like ignoring the RP issues, and there are legions of RP issues with playing Kazin in playing a Kazin. They are hideously overpowered. Which is the whole
Fine.
point.
I guess I'll just play a slaver. I can hear your
No.
brain explode.
I don't think you would play a slaver. I think you would hate them.
It's true. I would.
B, no, fuck you. Uh, uh, yeah, but there aren't there are plenty of weird aliens in known space that are not. I mean, they're
Sure.
be like playing a Scarran in a Farscape game. Kind of, Beck. That's kind of where, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scarran,
I could totally see playing a Skyrim in a Farscape game. But yeah, they're just a little too.
a properly done
Good.
Scarran is a little bit just too OTT.
Yeah. But you've also got friggin' Luxons right there, so.
Yeah, Eric's fine.
Yeah, and you've got. You've got a crazy warrior race with tentacle heads, and that's awesome. You're good.
But yes, what if but the problem with the Kazin is, what if a Scarran was even more murderously inclined?
Yeah.
Less
I don't
invulnerable.
know. Here's the thing: there are plenty of stories written by Niven himself post the Man-Kazin Wars, with humans and Zin working together, and it works fine.
Asterisk. It works mostly okay, and the Zin are generally very resentful of it.
Sure.
And the ones that tend to interact with humans the most are very much atypical Zin, for the most part. But the Kazin are changing at that point.
Yes.
So, but yeah, you're right. I'm just saying that there's a definitive homicidal tendency to most Kazin intentionally, because they are apex predators.
Yes. Which honestly is... There's something interesting about playing an apex predator as a character that, like from a role play point of view. Like, okay, I know this is the right thing to do, but how would an apex predator handle this? A sapient one. How would my cat handle this? If my cat was rolled high in his D6 for an intelligent this day.
Oh, the Kazin. The Kazin have many, many issues. At any rate, yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, there's plenty of other weird shit in known space. So
yeah, I mean, not as much as I think you would like, and like some of the weird shit I know you wouldn't want to play.
right, like I am unlikely to want to play a puppeteer.
Yeah, again,
I am unlikely to be able to maintain the interest in playing a puppeteer, beyond a whim, as an example.
Like, I don't. Again, the puppeteer is another one I'm not sure I'd allow as a player character race for different reasons. They would arguably be more problematic than a Kazin, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they'll just go catatonic if exposed to too much danger.
That's not even it. That's a big problem, but like, playing one properly would be an issue, I think.
And their tendency to try, it's like playing a Hiver in Traveler.
Really, the deuce you say, the Hivers, who are totally not at all inspired by the Pierce's puppeteers.
No, not at all. Just the constant attempts to manipulate everything around them for their own benefit, as a compulsion.
Yep. The Hivers were technically a player character option in Traveler.
Yep.
Well,
why would you play a Hiver when you could play a Varger?
Because you wanted to actually be somewhat functional in a group of most other player characters?
You're perfectly functional as a Varger in a group of player characters. Just as long as they're there to tell you what to do. And you like them. Because as soon as they're out of line of sight, you're just going to go, you know what? I wonder what this tastes like.
Fucking Varger. They are not quite... They are not on the level for me of Kender, but they are creeping close. They're not quite there though. They're actually pretty far away from Kender. I don't have any negative actual gameplay associations with them, so
right.
They have that going for them. Fucking Kender. Fuck the Kender.
Yeah, Kender are pretty terrible.
At any rate, I think that probably should wrap things up. We've been going for a good long while here.
About 2 hours.
Well,
closer to an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, about an hour and a half or so. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We normally save time at the end of each episode for reviewer questions, but we had a long, lengthy conversation going, and don't have a lot of questions right now, so I want to... If we can get a couple more before we answer them, that'd be ideal, I think. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, live audience, for being here. We really do appreciate it. If you do have questions that you'd like us to answer in the show, we will get to them eventually, I promise, especially if we get some more. If you have questions you'd like us to answer, sort of short questions you'd like us to answer about, things about, tabletop gaming, primarily tabletop gaming stuff. That's sort of our meat and potatoes, really. But
Yeah.
if you got like questions about our opinions on stuff, we're more than happy to answer those too. Tabletop games, video games, comic books, movies, etc., whatever. Feel free to ask. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com. surlygrognards@yahoo.com. If you've got feedback for us, ways constructive criticism, ways we can improve the show, same places, same place, same email address. If you got show topic suggestions, god damn it, we love those.
Yeah, those are great.
It means we don't spend an hour and a half rambling on about something I thought about right as we were recording the show. So we love that. Or if you don't want to send it to email, you can just leave a comment on YouTube. We will. I do keep an eye on those specifically for viewer questions and shit. We record the show Monday nights on twitch.tv/MechaGM. If you keep an eye on my Twitter handle is @MechaGM. I tweet out when the show's going to go live and when I'm about to start streaming anything, really. So keep it on my Twitter, and that way you'll know when I'm about to start recording live if you want to catch us live. Otherwise, the recordings go up on YouTube sometimes the same night, often the next day. Other than that, though, I think that's going to do it for tonight. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys next time. I do believe next week we're going to be doing 3 Men in Anime, though.
Yes, probably.
Because I think we'll be finishing up Parasite this weekend. So, yeah.
Barring something ridiculous happening.
Which is not outside the realm of possibility.
This is true.
I mean, who the fuck knows these days, honestly. Anyways, catch you all later.